How much chaos can one person cause? Well, what if I told you someone once blocked an entire interstate highway for a parking spot? My husband and I witnessed it all, and trust me, you won't believe how this bizarre situation unfolded or the even crazier twist that came after. So my husband and I lived in the lower 48 for a couple of years while attending college. Now, I'm going to keep the exact location confidential so I don't dox myself. The last thing I need is some creep figuring things out about me on the internet because they watch my crappy cartoons. So let me set the stage. One day, while we were living in this other state, my husband and I went shopping. But what started out as a usual occurrence ended up turning into an event so bizarre and potentially life-threatening that still to this day we don't understand how it didn't make the news. I suppose if social media had been bigger back then, or if drones had been on the market, it would have, but social media was in its infancy and we didn't have fancy flying gadgets equipped with cameras back then, so my husband and I had to band together with cart pushers to do our own investigative reporting. So we come out of Stuff Mart one busy summer day, the store's packed, and we discover that our car is blocked in by a row of cars that aren't moving. Everyone is just sitting in their vehicles, waiting for the vehicle in front of them to move. Other people, like us, are ready to leave. They're sitting in their parked cars, waiting to back out, but unlike us, they lack the wherewithal to get out and investigate this crap. Vehicles are lined up to the next aisle and the aisle past that. My husband is 6'4", so he can see farther than I can, and he tells me that cars are piling up everywhere as far as he can see. Before we know it, the line is starting to spill over to the parking lot entrance. We know we aren't going anywhere for a while, so we lock our goods inside our car and decide we're going to get to the bottom of this. The loaders joined us. Heck, it's not like they had anything better to do at this point. Cars were beginning to squeeze together in front of the store so tight they couldn't get carts inside. So we all walked our rounds around the lot, splitting up and reconvening to share our details like we were part of some clandestine CIA operation. Now, this particular parking lot had 2 points of entry on the same side of the parking lot opposite from the store, and the road that the entrances connected to stretched to another main road on the right to the left, and there was a ramp that joined the interstate followed by a bridge going over the interstate, and between the entrances to this parking lot and the interstate was a roundabout. The road just outside the parking lot starts becoming gridlocked, and we watch from the edge of the lot as the traffic standstill backs up into the roundabout. Now the roundabout is at a complete standstill, and the traffic flow beyond the roundabout is backing up. We go through more of the lot, following trails of trapped cars. It takes some walking, but finally we find the source of the problem. A lady, approximately 50-something years old, is just sitting behind the wheel, her blinker on, waiting for a very specific front row spot. She apparently hasn't noticed the cars piling up behind her that are now stuck, nor has she seemed to notice that vehicles are snaking around the lot and now beginning to box around her. She has a few car lengths between her and the main aisle running between the store and the parking lot, and she's leaving that space open so that the guy who's parked here can back up. We're about to approach her and let her know that she's creating some serious problems, but the roar of a motorcycle stops us. A biker dude pulls up next to her. Lord knows how many traffic laws he must have broken, weaving through traffic, squeezing through cars, passing on shoulders, maybe crossing straight through the roundabout on his quest to find the source of the gridlock. He taps on her window and she rolls it down. "What are you doing?" "I'm waiting. He's backing out." And she points at the car in question. We watch as motorcycle guy approaches the car in the front row spot. The driver is reclined inside, taking a nap. Motorcycle guy looks confused. Sleeping people don't usually back out. He taps on the window. The driver rolls it down. "That lady over there says you're backing out." He's dazed. He's just waking up. "No." "She said you are." "Well, I backed out a little to straighten my car. I'm waiting for my wife. God knows how long her clothes shopping will take." And he rolled up his window and went back to sleep. Motorcycle guy returns to the lady who's still waiting for her front row spot. "He's not going anywhere. He's waiting for his wife." "He lies. I saw him back out. He went back in that spot once he saw me because he doesn't want me to have that spot. He was just straightening his car." "Lies." "He's napping." "He's being selfish. He doesn't want me to have that front row spot." "Ma'am, you have to move. You're backing up the interstate." My husband and I exchange quick glances of horror. The lady rolls up her window. Motorcycle guy manages to squeeze his bike into a narrow area out of the way and goes inside the store. My husband and I walk over to the edge of the parking lot and climb the hill overlooking the interstate, and sure enough, cars are sitting idle for as far as the eye can see in both directions. Traffic congestion has extended through the off-ramp nearest the parking lot and over the bridge into the off-ramp on the other side, blocking off both directions of the interstate. There were quite a few cop cars caught in the mix, we assume because motorists were calling the police, asking why traffic wasn't moving. So my husband and I walk around the lot and notice that now both entrances leading in and out of the parking lot are congested. No one can drive anywhere. We return to the lady who's sitting there, still backing up traffic. The drivers in the vehicles stuck immediately behind her are out of their cars, screaming at her, but she won't budge. Motorcycle guy comes walking out of Stuff Mart with a sandwich in one hand and a drink in the other. He's pretty angry as he taps her window. "You're still here?" She sneers at him through the glass, which she refuses to roll down again. "I'm calling the cops." Now, mind you, he's not calling dispatch. Apparently, he's friends with the cop, and he calls him directly. "Hey Bill, we got a broad backing up traffic at Stuff Mart." "Stuff Mart, huh? We've had units stuck in the gridlock. Even the interstate's at a standstill." "Because some idiot here wants a front row spot, but the dude she's waiting on is sleeping in his car waiting for his wife. You got any cops on bikes today?" "Nope." Motorcycle guy then proceeds to give his cop buddy her vehicle description and plate number. We want to believe there's some solace here. Maybe motorcycle guy's friend will find this lady later and avenge us all. Motorcycle guy leaves, again probably breaking multiple traffic laws like driving in the wrong direction and weaving between vehicles, but hey, if the cops can't get to her, they certainly can't get to him either. The other drivers go back in their vehicles, probably praying that motorcycle guy's cop buddy will swoop in and save the day. Now the managers show up. "Ma'am, you need to move." "No, I am getting that spot." "You're blocking the entire parking lot." "I'm not moving." Now the managers call the cops, but we already know that's going to do nothing because the cops can't get to her. Even the motorcycle guy's friend can't get to her. Cop cars are only adding to the traffic congestion. That's when we hear a very loud "What's that sound?" We look up and a helicopter is flying overhead. But this isn't just any helicopter. This is a police helicopter. Are they sending in SWAT? Should we move? We look at each other horrified, wondering if tear gas grenades are going to fall from the sky. They might SEAL Team 6 this lady out of here, and if that's what they're about to do, well, we need to get out of Dodge. Then another helicopter shows up, and this one is a traffic helicopter. Yes, for some reason, a news station sent out a helicopter to investigate the situation, and it still never made the news. The helicopter was only there to give traffic updates. That must have been it, because I watched the news religiously for days after this, waiting to see this covered, and it never was. So now we have two helicopters flying overhead. We start running for our car, hoping we can light flares or send smoke signals. Now that guy who's been napping in the front spot, waiting for his wife, well, she finally comes out. Copters are flying overhead. Cars aren't moving anywhere. My husband is rubbing a couple of sticks together, trying to catch a pile of leaves on fire with a spark so we can send out smoke signals. I'm flailing with my arms in the air like I'm auditioning for a YMCA concert. "Help! Help! Down here! Help!" The wife stares from the helicopter circling the heavens, looks down at her husband, passed out behind the wheel, hat over his head. She looks behind their car and sees this old lady looking angrier than a rabid raccoon. She looks back at the helicopters flying over her husband. She clutches her new clothes tight to her body so they don't blow away as she gets in the passenger side. "What the heck did you do, Henry?" "Me? I was sleeping. Why'd it take you an hour to pick out clothes?" The man backs out and drives away, but he can't make it very far now that traffic's snaked around him. His wife is still in shock as the lady who blocked traffic for miles finally takes her much-awaited spot, and the traffic helicopter spans the area and leaves. Cars slowly start creeping out in various directions, reversing and driving as they eke out of the way of other cars. The police helicopter flies away, and finally, after about an hour of a nightmarish real-life version of Unblock Me, the traffic flow in the parking lot has resumed to somewhat normal. A cop who'd been stuck in traffic was finally able to make it. He'd gotten the troublemaker's vehicle description and plate number from motorcycle guy's cop friend, and he found her still parked there. He waited for her and had a talk with her. Unfortunately, though, he didn't give her a ticket. Now, if you're expecting me to say the end right about now, you'd be wrong. We, too, at the time, thought that that would be the end of this story, but alas, it was not. What I haven't told you yet is that my husband worked at this stuff mart. That's how I know that a cop found her but didn't give her a ticket. It's not like my husband and I were just going to stand there and crack open a beer with the cop and wait for her. Once our car was unblocked, we'd left, albeit very slowly. There's a gap! Dang it. Now imagine my surprise when my husband comes home from work at Stuff Mart one day a few weeks after this incident and says, "Remember that lady who backed up traffic for miles?" Yeah. Guess who just got hired at the store? No. Yep. And she made everyone who had lunch at the same time as her miss their meals. How? She brought a 5-course dinner to work and used all 3 microwaves in the employee break room to cook them on the lowest settings. The shortest cook time was 15 minutes. The longest was 45. You're joking, right? No, he wasn't joking. He had arrived in the break room and started his lunch about 15 minutes before she started hers, and he'd had a front row seat for the other employees yelling at her that they were hungry and needed to cook their food, and they only needed 1 microwave, and before long, that place turned into some kind of demented version of Hell's Kitchen. But instead of arguing about how a food was cooked or how it tasted, they were arguing about which food had the right to be cooked. And this lady must have thought she was some kind of Rachel Ray and had to cook every dish just right. Who cares about the other hungry employees? Now, the good news is she had gotten so many complaints from employees and customers alike that her employment there only lasted a month or 2, and hopefully she moved on to backing up other parking lots. The end.